welcome to The Art of Adventure. In this episode, I'll talk about some of the things I've learned and observed from going without food, from fasting. In the last 5 years, I've probably gone 40 days without food, mostly just water fast, just drinking water. Some of these are short, just 2 sleeps, basically a day of fasting, day and a half. Some of them are long. I've gone 8 days fasting is the longest that I've gone. I started experimenting with it in Bali because a lot of people do juice fasts there because there's just a big healthy eating culture, and I wanted to see what it was like. I mean, how much can you know about yourself if you'd never gone without food? And so I think I started baby steps, maybe did a 1 day fast and a 4 day fast. But here's some of the things that I've noticed. And I did three weeks in a row where I've done a 36-hour fast. And I noticed some patterns that are coming up, and I just wanted to share with you, if you haven't done any fasting, what you might be able to expect, or if you have done fasting, maybe your experience is similar or different. So one of the first things that I notice is that I need less sleep. And if I normally sleep 8 hours, then maybe I'll wake up feeling refreshed after 6.5 hours. And so they say, you're spending so much energy digesting food. And when you don't do that, you can put the energy to other things. And I definitely noticed that. And I also feel very light. And in the first couple days of a fast, my mind generally is working really well. And if you couple that with not having to take time to eat and brush your teeth and digest and all those things, you're saving a couple hours each day. So I actually end up being very productive in the early parts of a fast. Now, some people say they maintain high energy levels for an entire fast. I experienced that I was very lethargic after 3, 4, 5 days of fasting and found it really hard to physically move my body, and I just felt more weak. And this process of your body like starting to eat itself, autophagy, it's getting rid of older and diseased cells, and it's definitely cleaning out your body. So you really feel amazing, but during that process, like you can feel your body eating itself, and that's just it's a very tiring feeling, at least for me. I noticed that food starts to smell really good. My kid was eating a rice cracker, and I thought, oh my God, that smells amazing. And it's just, okay, it's a rice cracker. It's one of the simplest foods out there. And of course, that first bite of food after a fast is so much more delicious and nuanced. Eating a banana, for example, I've broken a fast with a banana a couple times, is just a really wonderful experience. And so, like many things, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Removing something, whether it's food or whatever, from your life, and then coming back to it really makes the experience that much more wonderful. I definitely notice that my body temperature goes down. I'll be wearing, if normally I'd be wearing shorts and a t-shirt, I'll be wearing a sweatshirt and pants because I definitely get the shivers. And that's, I think because I eat a pretty high sugar, low glycemic index diet, I have a lot of fuel and my body temperature runs pretty hot. But then when I'm fasting, it's like cold. And I tried to do some workouts, some runs. I tried to play Frisbee. I tried to do some dancing, and it's all just really hard. I would expect maybe with that lightness that I feel that sometimes a run would feel really good, but it's just like you feel like you're physically willing each footstep to happen. Or if you somehow forget that you're working out for a few seconds, you quickly remember because your body is just like, no, please don't push me very hard. And fasting should be a time of not pushing yourself because it's going to be harder to recover. And so if you're an athlete, if you're training for something, if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to build fitness, it's not a great time to do fasting. And because I'm actively training right now, what I'll do is I know that I'm going to be taking Mondays off from working out. So Mondays are going to be fasting days. And I probably won't work out again. If I work out on Sunday, I probably won't work out again until Tuesday afternoon when I've already started eating again on Tuesday morning. One really interesting thing that I've noticed is that I smell really bad, like my armpits. Totally different smell than normal body odor. And I think that's from the, autophagy, that process of your body sort of breaking down and cleaning out older, maybe diseased tissues. I don't want to say disease. I just want to say some cells have sort of reached a state where they're not functioning optimally. And if we can clear those out, right, then you have a higher percentage of cells that are sort of fully functional. And I think that's, again, I'm not a super fasting expert, but I think that's a lot of what's happening and a lot of where the health benefits, the longevity benefits, the anti-cancer benefits come from, and also come from, having higher sensitivity to sugars and insulin and all of those things. So you're sort of resetting your system so that if you're addicted to anything, like I eat a lot of sugar and I sometimes feel like I can be addicted to sugar. So it's a great reset for that. So sometimes I'll feel like I need to fast if I've been drinking too much wine, or if I've been eating too many cookies, or if there's anything in my diet that I've just been sort of over consuming and it starts to build up. I'll get this feeling like, I just need to take a day off of eating. And sometimes it's not even that much. Sometimes I'll just take the morning off and I'll eat breakfast at noon instead of at 9 a.m. So just a few extra hours can feel really good to give the body more time to focus on repair and cleaning rather than digestion. I've noticed that it's hard to ramp up after you've done a fast. Like you really have to ease into it. Sometimes it takes 2 full days before you can eat sort of these complex foods like a hamburger or something. So that's why starting with a banana or some juice or something, some super simple, and then adding complexity to your diet, because you can actually feel the food sitting in there in your stomach. Like when you normally wouldn't, all of a sudden you take a bite of food and you can just feel it sitting in there before the digestive system realizes like, okay, now we're eating again, and it starts to use all the fluids and enzymes and ramp that whole process back up again. And besides doing it for the health benefits, and besides, that you can feel good and have clarity and be productive and all these things, one of the best things I've noticed is just not needing food. I think I used to have a lot of anxiety tied around eating. I would always carry food with me. I would have 2 granola bars and an apple in my backpack at all times, because I was like, what if I get hungry? Shit's going to hit the fan. And now if I miss a meal, or if I miss a day of meals, like if I'm traveling and I only have a little bit of a snack, I know that I'm going to be fine. And maybe I'll be a little bit hungry, but that's okay, because I get hungry even on days when I'm eating 3 meals. And it really just helps provide a little bit more security and safety around food. Knowing I can go for a week without food means there's less pressure to just run out and eat the next thing, because I think that's programmed into us, eat as much as possible. That's why we have so much obesity, is because we're genetically conditioned to try to eat and build up food stores, because you never know. And if you can take away that anxiety around eating, then you can be a little bit more intentional. Like, I choose to eat this and I choose when I want to eat. And you can optimize your diet and your eating schedule for your lifestyle and what you want to do. If you want to get really muscular, or if you want to live a long time, or if you want to not be addicted to food, there's all kinds of things you can do to gain control of your diet. And it's all part of picking a lifestyle that works for you. I mean, we want to design our lifestyles so that we feel the way we want, so that we have experiences we want. And this is just a tool. It's a self-experimentation. So I invite you, if you haven't done any fasting, then do a little bit of reading about it and see if you want to do maybe a day without food, or maybe 3 days on a juice fast. Definitely ease into it. Don't do a week-long fast or a multi-week fast right off the bat, because that'll be a huge shock to your system. But if you can start to ease into it, then maybe you'll find that something about it is really good for you. All right. Thank you so much for listening. That's the end of this episode. Now it's your turn to go out there and be a curious explorer.